Hi, my name is Matt Britton, Chairman of the Board and General Counsel at 40 Days for Life, and I am here in beautiful, sunny, and very hot, 100 degrees, Melbourne, Australia, which is not pronounced Melbourne. I think it's pronounced Melbourne. I can't say anything in Australian except for good on ya. And I'm here with a very special woman, Kathy Clubb. Did I pronounce your name right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the same, like club soda. And I am here with a very special woman who has a very amazing story. Melbourne, like so many other cities in Australia, is falling prey to the essentially killing of free speech, which is just sort of a statutory right they have. It's not like in America, First Amendment, constitutional right. It's this sort of political right of assembly. It's very watered down, and they're putting in these hateful buffer zones. They call them safety access zones here, as though we're doing anything unsafe. And you're going to see this blue line that our camera person is going to show you when we get up there, and you can't cross that. It's 150 meters. It's what the free country calls yards. 150 meters away. It's a long way away, and it's meant so that you can't counsel. And so Kathy, would we be able to walk up to this line that you crossed and you can tell us your story?
Yeah, sure, Matt.
Okay, let's go ahead and walk and talk, and we'll get a little filming from behind. So we're approaching this dotted blue line up here, isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right.
How long has that been here?
It's been here since August 2016.
August 2016, and that's when safety access zones came to Melbourne, right?
Yeah, that's right, in Victoria, the whole state.
So Australia has federal law, but it's divided into states like the U.S., and Victoria is one of them?
Yeah, that's right. Each state has its own abortion law.
Okay, and you're sort of in the south of Australia, aren't you?
Yep, that's right.
Only Tasmania is farther south.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, and you used to live in Tasmania, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so before we start the story, maybe we could separate a little bit and we could show this blue line and then show up there where the clinic is. We're very far away. You can't even see the clinic, can you?
No, you can't see it from here at all.
Okay, so would you be willing to tell just a little bit about yourself? You moved here from Tasmania, and how did you get involved in the pro-life?
Well, as Matt said, I was living in Tasmania. We had exclusions down there since 2013. But after a while, I felt that God was calling me to Victoria, and I was really looking forward to being able to still pray outside abortion facilities in Victoria. So I did some regular witnessing and also 40 Days for Life in both states.
So you were part of 40 Days for Life campaigns right here?
Yes, here, and I also witnessed at another abortion mill out in the suburbs.
Now, speaking of right here, this is called, what is it called? The
Fertility Control Clinic.
Fertility, it's like the future, isn't it? It's like a Hollywood movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like Brave New World.
So worse. They get to control who's fertile and who's not.
Yeah, it's a euphemism.
Yeah, and we can't stand here and tell the truth with love, can we?
We can't cross that line.
But you did cross that line, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right, I did.
Okay. Now, if you could just tell us, you were here, you were praying in two different locations, and you told me earlier, it was beautiful, that something changed in you and you felt that you had to do more. You were apprehensive about actually counseling women and telling them the truth, but you decided to do that. What happened there?
Well, I was quite comfortable with praying outside the abortion mills, but I was reading about and hearing about these counselors that would actually approach women, and I had a bit of a crisis about it. It seemed a bit extreme, and I was worried that perhaps it would actually be harassing or something like that. So I talked to one of my pro-life friends in another country, and he challenged me, and he asked me if I really believe babies are being killed inside the abortion mill. And I said, yeah, I really believe babies are being killed there. And he said, well, if you really believe babies are being killed there, you're going to go and try and stop that. And so he threw down the gauntlet, and I realized, yeah, I really have to do this. I have to lovingly approach women and offer them help so that they won't kill their babies.
So you crossed this blue line?
Yeah, it wasn't straight away. We didn't have the exclusion zones at that point. But once the law changed, I really felt strongly that I had to challenge this law because of the freedom of speech aspect as well as the pro-life aspect.
Okay, we won't get into the facts and details, but you were arrested here, weren't you?
Yeah, I was arrested for simply approaching a couple.
Now, you have 13 children of your own, don't you?
Yeah, I do. That's
so
right.
This was probably not on your bucket list, getting arrested, was it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
So, I mean, I guess any mom with a lot of children knows and wants to be home with their children, right? Not being held in a cell. Were you actually like locked up and taken to a cell?
Well, I was in custody for an hour. So,
and this was a criminal charge?
Yeah, absolutely a criminal charge.
Okay, where is your case in the system now?
Well, I was convicted in the magistrate's court and fined $5,000, and we have an appeal pending, but fortunately we managed to get our case heard in the High Court, which is at the constitutional level, and that was heard in October last year. We're still waiting to hear the outcome of that case.
So a lot of folks know I was the DA, I was a prosecutor, so I want to do a little translation and make sure it's the same for our U.S. audience and around the world. So you got convicted sort of at the trial court level, like if you got a speeding ticket and you said, "Judge, I wasn't speeding," and he says, "Yes, you were." Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
And then you can appeal that to an appellate court to say the judge was wrong.
Yeah, that can go to the Supreme Court.
But also, you have a constitutional level court that can jump up and address issues of constitution, like our Supreme Court, don't you?
Yep, that's right.
So your appeal of whether or not you're guilty is pending, but in the first instance, they are hearing, hey, do you have the right to be there, and therefore this law is unjust and illegal?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So you're really carrying the torch, at least in Victoria, for the constitutionality, the legality of the law, this buffer zone, this safety access, this exclusion zone, aren't you?
Yeah, several other states have laws that are similarly worded. Quite a few of our states have exclusion zones now.
And more coming.
Trying to, yeah, they're trying to bring some more in. So in my case, I had the Commonwealth Attorney General and the Attorneys General of several of the states joined with the Victorian Attorney General to oppose me in court.
And who's your lawyer? You're not there alone, are you?
No, I've got a great legal team. The Human Rights Law Alliance took my case on. I'm very grateful to them.
Okay, good. So you're well represented.
Yeah, very well.
Good, because you need to be.
Thank you, I know.
Yeah, you're fighting the fight for all of us. And I know I've gone through Canada and the UK and now Australia. I'm coming down here and speaking with as many people as I can in Adelaide and Perth and Brisbane and Melbourne and Sydney. And these are names well known to 40 Days for Lifers, Paul Hanrahan and Fonz and Alan Tyson and Steve Klompy out in Perth. But you're the one in court, aren't you?
Yeah, I hope that I can help the other states with my case, if my case is successful.
Well, you're a very brave and humble person. It's a lot more, it's very brave to do this and to do it knowing what's at stake. So thank you from all of us, and we will all be praying for you, and I guarantee you that wherever I go in the world, I will make sure that your story is heard. Not so that everybody just knows about you. I know you didn't even want to tell this because you were worried it'd be about you, and I begged you to do it. But because you need our prayers, and we're going to be praying for you.
Thanks, Matt.
Is there anything else you want to say?
I just encourage everyone to join 40 Days for Life and go and gather outside the place where babies are being killed and pray to end abortion.
One year, 2010, I participated in the 40 Days for Life, and I experienced something that I'll never forget. I was praying in front of the abortion clinic at that time. A gentleman came walking past. He seemed to be extremely distraught. I originally thought he may have been intoxicated. As he was coming past us, he came up to us and he asked us, why are you here? What are you doing? And we said, we're praying for an end to abortion, and we pray for change of hearts. Well, this gentleman broke down in front of us. He broke down crying, which explains he wasn't drunk, he wasn't on drugs, he was extremely distraught. And he told us that he found his sister in the bathtub. He found her dead. She had committed suicide. He found her in a pool of blood in the bathtub. And that was very difficult to hear. She had an abortion, and she had the abortion at the place where we were praying on Wellington Parade, the fertility control clinic. And after that abortion, he found her in a bathtub dead, and that really shook me to the core. I could never forget that man. I could never forget what he told us about his sister. And with all my heart, I was praying for him and for his sister. And I felt very strongly that I was meant to be there at the 40 Days for Life with this married couple praying for an end to abortion.
Hi, this is Matt Britton, General Counsel, Chairman of the Board of 40 Days for Life, and I'm here in Perth, Australia, which is beautiful. No offense to the other great cities we've seen, but we've been to a few of them, and this one is just fantastic. And I'm here with our great leader, Steve, in front of St. Mary's Cathedral. The people up here have been so welcoming, and Steve has just told us about his fantastic campaign and all of the prayer warriors. And so I'd like to end up, if you could just give us a minute, what are one or two of the most fantastic blessings that you have seen through the 40 Days for Life campaign and the pro-life movement that you've been involved in here in Perth specifically?
Well, of course, I've always been very lucky, Matt. I mean, one of the things about my marriage to Carla is that we both think the same. You know, for us, children were a gift from the Lord, and so we ended up with 6, of course, and for us that was never a problem. Not everyone is in the same fortunate positions. I remember there was one time this enormous man came up to me. He was huge. I thought I was going to die, I really did. And he stood next to me and he was asking me about his friend's pregnancy. I'm fairly confident it was his partner, but and he cried, and I thought I was going to be in real trouble. But he cried, and I said, look, you do the best you can to protect your child, and that's the best you can do. And he ended up being a contributor, which was really, really good. So for me, I went from being afraid that I was going to die to knowing that the Lord had somehow reached out to him through me, which was fantastic. There was another one where a lady was very, very angry because her child was sick, and I'm going to use that term euphemistically. And she said, look, we've made this decision to end our child's life. And I said, you need to really think about this, and you need to really consider that this is a child, and that child deserves life, as all children do. She didn't go through it on that day, and I have great hope that she never did.
Well, thank you. Those are beautiful stories. I'm sure the Lord's protecting you because you have, as you know, 300,000 people praying for you. And big person, little person, you saw what happened. You touched a heart, and that man knows what's right in his heart, and he cried. Hopefully the Lord heard those, felt those tears. So
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for having us. It's been fantastic.
You're welcome. You're welcome.